Greetings, it is I, Tantus Naradan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time for Legends, Lands, Planes, and Planeswalkers of Magic the Gathering. I've been talking about the various parts of the world settings of Magic the Gathering, talking to you about all these different things, and letting you know their stories, to help you understand the overall story of the world that the Magic the Gathering develops. Today, I'm going to sort of move to the opposite of what I was talking about last week. Last week I was talking about Lorwyn, a plane of ever-learning spring and light. This time I'm talking about its mirror, the other side of it, Shadowmoor, a plane of darkness and terror. So, much like Lorwyn, it is a very similar place to it. It is, in fact, its mirror. Everything that you can sort of find there, you will, in a way, find in Shadowmoor. It is a mirror, yet it is not. It is the opposite of it, is the way to say it. It is its reflection in every way. It is a place that is very different, but exists in the same place. That the great aurora changes between the two of them. So you change from this light of Lorwyn to the dark of Shadowmoor. Shadowmoor is a place where there is no light. The only light you can see is the kind of cold moonlight that basks over you. The night is covered in gloom and fog constantly. The once clear waters of Lorwyn are now brackish and chill. Kind of howling wind blows through rotten trees. It is not a place of despair, but overwhelming terror and constant death. The majority of inhabitants were in Lorwyn. Once they transition to Shadowmoor, remember nothing of their time there. In fact, they only have memories of existing within Shadowmoor. They're perfectly fine with living there, and they only think they have always done so. Very few retain those memories. Of course, Oona and her closest fairies, they retain the memories of it, because Oona is the one that is behind the Great Aurora and the changes of it. But especially this last time, there were a number of others which retained it. That led to them basically stopping the Great Aurora and defeating Oona. Marlene and her companions, Aisling, Bridget, and Saproling. They were just some of those that retained their memory. Her group, effectively, that helped them eventually in being able to defeat Oona. Now, as I said, many creatures do return here. There are a number of creatures which disappear when the transition happens. A number of the living creatures that were in the woods and the forest and stuff, they don't appear in Shadowmoor. They disappear from it. Others appear. The gremlin-like oafs, living scarecrows, nightmarish creatures that were hiding below the surface of the Lorwyn, hiding from the light, that now find themselves able to emerge onto the world itself and become a terror to those that live there. The most significant change is the attitudes of the tribes, the races that live there. They're significantly changed from how they were back in Lorwyn. The Kithkin have become reclusive and distrustful of strangers, finding themselves in armed cities rather than what they once before, kind of defending themselves from others. The Bogglums have become thuggish brutes that try to go after and get everyone else. Giants have lost all their intelligence, have become savage brutes living on instincts. The Marrow have changed to be raiders and pirates, hiding beneath the dark waters, ready to strike out at those that they can get. The Treefolk have become warped skeletons of bark and branches. And even the Changelings are now, once playful, are now the malicious mimics. Flamekin are now cinders that have lost all their passion and light and kind of are these dark things that have only filled with hatred for everything else. The only thing that seems to have had a positive change is the elves. They've changed drastically. They seem to be now the ones that hold in the last bastion of what once could have been Lorwyn in this shadowy world. They hold on to that little bit of light. They no longer are the ones that look over beauty and are kind of dominate the entire plane. They are now like no longer have that arrogance. They only have this kind of self-preservationist feeling to them, that they look to keep what is little alive while surviving in these dark times that are forcefully oppressing upon them at all times. The only ones that have not changed are the fairies. Protected by the magic of Oona, they remain as they always were, tricksters and pranksters that exist under her care. And as I said, some even retain memory of what has happened. Many of the lands and locations that are within Shadowmoor have of course changed from Lorwyn. The dark meanders are now a place that many Marrow dwell deep within and emerge from to do their dark deeds. The city of Kinsbale is now the armored fortress of Kinzakar, a down as they're called, within the Kithkin society of Shadowmoor. Of course, Glen Eladrin, the realm of Oona, the place of the Fae, of the fairies still remains the same, as it always has, protected by her magic. The sacred mountain of the Flamekin is now returned to what is known as Mount Kulrath, the place where Aisling, the destroyer as she is called in this world, kind of leads over the cinders, while they both adore her and hate her at the same time. It is their now center of power. Of course, Aisling, she led a rampage across it, kind of after the effects of what happened in the Great Aurora. She was overwhelmed by the powers that were imbued into her. If it wasn't for Marlene, she probably would have continued her rampage. Marlene saved her from her rampage, and in doing to make up for what she had done and trying to basically murder everyone, she eventually then helped her to go off and defeat Oona. And it was, of course, defeating Oona and putting Marlene in charge of this cycle then that returned it to day and night. And we now know that Riss, of course, has the Moonglow and is ready to defeat her if should things return to normal. But we do not know of this now combined world of Lorwyn and Shadowmoor. What it is really called now? What this new realm of both day and night is. Where seasons may return. Maybe it will just be a spring and cold nights. We do not know. We'll have to see if we revisit it ever. But the darkness of Shadowmoor isn't gone. It isn't banished. It now just exists at the same time as the light. So that's it for today. I introduced you to the other half of Lorwyn, which I talked about last week, Shadowmoor. A dark place of death and pain, and where many things die, and life struggles to exist. A place that, also like Lorwyn, does no longer exist, but yet in a way it does, because the two of them, once mirror shadows of each other, are now one plane. One plane that exists rather than at different times, at the same time. And we have yet to see what this means for its inhabitants, or what means for what has occurred there. Perhaps will in the future. So if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I left out, please leave it in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Shows you support the channel, the Empire, the work I do. If you want to show some extra support, you could always check out my Patreon, link to the description below. I recommend a few other people from my connections through the multiverse, some friends that also do some magic, Card Bazaar, They Said We Said, and Tasty Snackies. Go ahead and check out their stuff if you want some more magic material while I'm not doing mine on the off days. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.